All righty then. Welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and across Canada and 33 states, including New Jersey, on Game Plus TV. Oh, there he is from New Jersey. Jim, listen, that wind chill you just got, that gust of wind from the north, that was Canada exhaling, as you know, with Mitch. Where Canada beating Czechia 3-2, whatever the final was, 4-3 in the quarterfinal, man. The dream continues for a Canada-USA gold medal, at least as we sit here right now.
Yeah, I mean, what a game right before we come on, right? You're on the air for the entire game. I just, right before I popped on, Canada wins it, Mitch Marner. Oh, hey, Mitch Marner doing something, big. Again, he had the assist in the Four Nations gold medal game to Connor McDavid. Now he scores the game winner. Macklin Celebrini with another assist. Yeah, Czechia gave him everything they wanted and more. And, I just put it out before. Jordan Binnington, like Grant Fuhr, he'll give up 3 to 4 goals a game, but the next one's not going in. And the next one didn't go in. Binnington was outstanding for Canada in this game.
This is a gigantic poop burger for the Leafs fans, is it not, to see Marner deliver on this stage?
Oh, absolutely, 100% he is. That's definitely, for me, that's 100% a poop burger. Look, he went to Vegas. He's been delivering for Vegas. Now he's delivering for Canada on the big stage. And for everybody who ran him out of town in Toronto, well, this is what he can do on a big stage. And you know what? He wasn't the reason they lost Toronto. He wasn't the reason they lost all the time in the playoffs.
Rob is watching in Las Vegas, by the way. Shout out Rob Campbell. He says Binnington won this game for Canada. Do you agree?
100%. I do agree. I mean, after the Palat goal goes in, he makes a couple of saves. He robs Natchez a couple of times. Cervenka, Pasternak in the slot. And then in overtime, the Czechs had a chance. And he robbed Gudis. I mean, he robbed Gudis when the game was 2-2 right before the Palat goal that just snuck under a 7-hole. And Binnington, to me, was, look, Binnington kept Team Canada in the game. Let's be honest. If it wasn't for 29, 97, and 17, where's the rest of the team before overtime? Like, I'm going to be honest. It was like it was a 3-man show before, Nick Suzuki potted the season-saving goal for Team Canada, because before that, they didn't show up. I think outside of the top guys, the rest of the team didn't show up. And, yeah, it stinks when you lose Sidney Crosby, no doubt. But I think Jordan Binnington, hands down, was the best player on the ice for Team Canada today.
Well, by the way, let's hear from the Vegas viewers. Rob in Las Vegas says, Vegas Golden Knights legend Mitch Marner. While we're on the topic, you were watching live on Game Plus TV and Silver State Sports Entertainment Network our interview with Kelly McCrimmon yesterday, the GM of the Golden Knights. What did you take away from that interview, Jimmy?
He's just a fascinating individual, right? He knows the knowledge of the game from his days in junior, how he brought that to the NHL, how he's not going to make rash decisions. But, ever since he's been the GM of the Golden Knights, he knows when to tinker with his team and when not to tinker with his team. And, I expect Vegas to do something at the trade deadline. He wasn't going to give away any secrets. That's what I'll say. But he understood that, how much the Olympics played into a lot of the decisions, how the play's been for certain players. I think he expects his team to be a lot better than they are, but understands the circumstances this year. But he it was kind of hinting that, Stone and Marner have been playing really well together this season, and you're seeing it here in the Olympics as well. I expect the Vegas Golden something at the trade deadline, but I just to Kelly talk hockey all day. I really could.
Sorry, some internet issue. You got me here, Jim?
Yeah, I got you here. You still got me? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. By the way, it was the thing with the McCrimmon. I knew that asking about trade deadline deals was a no-fly zone. I knew that asking about Carter Hart would be a no-fly zone. So I didn't, we just told some old stories and talked about how he goes about his job, and I thought it went real well. Coming back, let's talk about that. We'll get back to the Olympics in a second. Second half, NHL deadline will be here before you know it. Do you expect anything right out of the chute?
I think I'm going to circle the Los Angeles Kings for me. I think that's a team that I'm going to circle because of the injury to Kevin Fiala. I know he's going to be out. They say he's going to be reevaluated in a couple of months. He's on LTIR right now, not season ending, but he did, suffer a broken fibula and he had the surgery over in Italy. So I'm expecting the LA Kings to be active on the market. Do I think a trade will happen right away? Maybe a couple days right after everything happens. Once we get back, I think teams are going to want to settle in. But I think the first couple of games is going to be telling. I think a lot of GMs this week are starting to lay the groundwork because a lot of them took a week off to watch Olympic hockey, and most of them are over there anyway. But again, you want to take a vacation, want to give your brain a reset. But I think the LA Kings are a team to circle. They need a center, but now they need somebody to replace Fiala. So to me, I think LA is a team to watch, and again now Edmonton with Paul Coffey back behind the bench. So let's see how they play defensively because I know they're looking to add on the back end as well.
Jimmy, you're a true professional as we get the internet set. You're the best, man, but you know how I feel about you. Before we talk about Sergei Bobrovsky and his potential availability, because they're starting to talk. See, you smiled already. We were on this a couple of weeks ago. But before we get to that, the Tkachuk versus Leon debate. Am I complete? Even the Panthers staff are now tweeting about how, listen, they're not taking Draisaitl over Tkachuk. I get that Oilers fans think I'm nuts. That's fine. It's not everybody thinks I'm nuts. Maybe I am.
I mean,
that
means I'm not. That means I'm insane too. That means I'm in the same category as you. But there's this box, right? Like there's this box that people put people in. I'm outside the box, like way over another quadrant. So yep. I say to myself, I'm taking Tkachuk over Draisaitl. I love Draisaitl as a player. Don't get me wrong. I love Leon Draisaitl. I think he's one of the top 5 players in the league right now. But if you're asking me to take who I'm taking, big game moments, give me Matthew Tkachuk. And look, people saw what I tweeted yesterday. One of the Edmonton Riders is going to stay nameless because, I don't do that kind of stuff. But again, they say Matthew Tkachuk was invisible in the final for the Florida Panthers when everybody was talking about everybody else. I'm like, the dude had 7 points in 6 games with a torn abductor muscle, torn groin, all this stuff. Oh, by the way, scored the game-winning goal in Game 6 to win the Stanley Cup. It was very noticeable. He just wasn't there during practice and morning skates because he was nursing an injury. But Matthew Tkachuk delivered for the Florida Panthers, and he continues to deliver. Again, I saw it today with Leon Draisaitl. He tried to do it himself. Germany just doesn't have the horses and the depth, and it was the same issue with the Oilers. You can have 97 and 29 out there all you want, but it's the rest of the team that's going to win.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Now we're getting somewhere. And the viewers do have questions for you, Jim. So just hang on. Everybody loves Jersey Jim. Not as much as I, though, from NHL Full Press and NHLRumors.com. But I'll say this, man. I saw they were talking about this on Fox Sports Radio the other day about the Olympics. And somebody said, oh, the media is complaining about blah, blah, blah. It's not just fans. It's media is complaining about blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. The media is fans. And in a perfect example, forget about the Olympics, is this guy, and I know exactly who you're talking about because I saw the tweet too, ripping Tkachuk. I'm like, you're making yourself look bad, bro. That's the one thing, Jimmy. Maybe you and I are just too old school, but I know that you and I think that's why we get along because we're cut from the same cloth and we cover these NHL events together. You're not a fan, and I'm not a fan. And the day
I'm not a fan.
I'm shutting it down.
Yeah, me too. I mean, look, there's sometimes I'll say some things that are fanish, but when I write and I come on and I talk professionally, I'm going to give you my analysis and I'm going to critique everybody. I'm the hardest guy on my own team. When I cover the Devils, I'm one of the hardest critics of the New Jersey Devils and certain players, and things don't work a certain way, but I'm not going to keep ripping everybody all the time. If I see positivity, I'm going to bring it. But if there needs to be criticism, I'll criticize. So, I mean, to me, I'm not a fanboy when it comes to certain players. I expect top players to perform on the biggest stages. And I've seen it with Connor McDavid now, right? He's tied an Olympic record now with best on best, right? He's tied Solani and Koivu from 2006 when they were on Finland. Now I expect the same thing come USA when they play Sweden. I expect the top guys to deliver. And if they don't, you're going to hear the criticism. And I'll be the first one to criticize.
You're not joking, bro. By the way, Jimmy's at NHL Full Press and NHLRumors.com at his Substack. Go follow him on social media, and you can subscribe to his Substack there. You say some things sometimes about the Devils, and I see the headlines. I'm like, oh, Jim, hope that doesn't get you in trouble. But hey, you get the respect from the fans that way. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit their showroom or drop in their website, westerndodge.ca. I'll appease the viewers with some of the questions. Jeremy's asked multiple times if you see the Red Wings being active here the rest of the way.
Yeah, I do. I think Steve Yzerman knows that what happened last year with Dylan Larkin. Larkin called out his GM because he didn't make a move and it hurt the morale in the room. But I like what Todd McClellan's done with the Red Wings this year. They're playing the right way. Obviously, we're seeing what Lucas Raymond's doing on the world stage. He's done it this year with Detroit. But I think they still need a center, and I think they're going to try to go get Vincent Trocheck along with a couple other teams. I think they're going to call about it. I think they're going to look to add some pieces to make a run because it's now or never for the Detroit Red Wings, right? Like, that's been the criticism of Steve Yzerman and his plan. It's taken too long. You don't want to decade. You don't want to be like Buffalo, right? Well, yeah, everything's finally come together this year. Now go add a piece here and there and put yourself in a good position to make the playoffs and make a deep run, because I think it is now or never in Detroit, because I know there's a lot of unrest in Detroit right now.
Well, they're not really young either. You got Patrick Kane there. You got Tarasenko there. You got guys that want to. Shabbat, I think, still there. The guys that have been there and want to win, or they'll be gone. They won't hang around. By the way, Darren writes in from Melford. Listen, I got NFL stuff I want to get to with you, and I think you know that. I think you saw me talking about it earlier. But Darren says, Jordan Binnington is the boss of Team Canada. Shouldn't be any doubters anymore. Well, when you look at where the Blues are in the standings, there's a lot of people pointing fingers at Binnington, and I think he would be the number one goalie on the market. There are others. Do you see he's got to be moved, isn't he?
He could be moved. I mean, I think it all depends on where he wants to be moved, right? He's got trade protection, so he has some say from where he wants to go. And we heard the Edmonton Oilers were involved in trying to get Jordan Binnington earlier in the year before they picked up Tristan Jarry. But again, he didn't want to go to Edmonton. Edmonton was on his no-fly zone, and his no-trade list. So what happens now? Where does he go? What and who are the contending teams that really need a goaltender right now? Right? Like, John Gibson's playing well in Detroit. The Islanders have their guy. Logan Thompson's in Washington. Carolina just signed Brendan Bussey. Like, is he going out west to help somebody? Lucas Dostal's in Anaheim. Vegas has their guys, right? Unless they try to make a move for a goalie. The Central Division, all the top teams have their guys. So there's really not a lot of movement for a goaltender right now at the trade deadline. I mean, I think if the Blues are going to move off of Binnington, I think it's a summer move, in my opinion.
Yeah. This is funny. Hockey game ends, our viewership. Or it also coincided with you coming on. So that's probably everybody wanting to tune in and see Jersey Jim. Listen, I will get to that NFL stuff, I promise. But, I do see things differently and sometimes ahead of everybody else. And there's the Bobrovsky trade talk. I've seen it been on Panthers podcast down here. Like last week, I was afraid to even bring it up, the even notion of trading Bob. But the thing is, his contract's up. He hasn't extended. I'm not saying they want to get rid of Sergei Bobrovsky. What I'm saying is they must have at least thought of it. Jim.
I think it's an option, right? I think you have to think about it. It has to be a conversation, right? Like, Bill Zito wouldn't be doing his job if it wasn't a conversation. But he has a 16-team no-trade list, right? Now, for those that, I have to do a little explaining here. For those that think the cap hit goes down because he's been paid, that doesn't change. Nothing changes, right? He's still a $10 million cap hit. So if people say the Panthers can retain, who's going on season-ending LTIR for the Panthers to retain half of Bobrovsky? That means one of Marchand or Barkov or somebody else who's hurt is done for the rest of the year. Well, we know Bill Zito believes this team can still make the playoffs. That's why Barkov's not on season-ending LTIR. That's why Kulikov's not there. That's why Seth Jones is not there. They still believe they have a shot to make the playoffs. The first week of resumption of play is going to be telling for the Florida Panthers. If they're still 8 points out, if they're not within 4 points at the trade deadline, like I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. And I think they would have to have a serious conversation about it. But again, Bobrovsky doesn't like to negotiate during the season. Maybe they've taken this time right now where everybody's away but Bill Zito is over in Milan in Italy. But maybe he's talked to Bobrovsky's agent. We know who the agent is. But Bobrovsky chose Florida for a reason in 2019. He wanted to go to Florida. He lives here in the offseason. He lives there in the offseason, right? I don't think he's going to leave, but the conversation is going to be what the contract looks like, because it's not going to be 3-4 years like everybody else. It could be a 1 to 2 year deal. And if I'm Bill Zito, I think it's 1 year at over 35 contract that gives us the best chance to build around everybody.
We'll see. And if Bob doesn't want to go anywhere, then he won't go anywhere. That's the kind of respect that they have for him. But like
and
I
Rod,
say,
real quick, Rod, real quick on this. If their chances of making the playoffs, unless you're going to get Jesper Wallstedt from Minnesota, your best chance to make the playoffs is with Sergei Bobrovsky between the pipes, because they don't have anybody else. Tarasov's hurt.
The playoffs start as soon as the Olympics are over, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, the NFL announcing the 49ers are going to play in Mexico City this year, and they're going back, and they're going to play there the next 3 years. What I was saying earlier is, what's the end game? And we don't have a lot of time left here, but is it just to make money and play neutral site games, or do you see them putting teams in other countries eventually before even Roger Goodell's term is done?
I think it's a moneymaker, but I also think they want to reestablish a team someplace. And I think the goal has always been to get a team over in Europe, right? They wanted an NFL team in Europe. They've always wanted an NFL team in Europe. They had NFL Europe for many years, but I think they want to have a home base somewhere for a team that they can expand. Hey, we're really international now. We're doing all these games everywhere. Yeah, it's a moneymaker, but it's the NFL, right? The NFL is global. We know the NFL is global. Just look at Super Bowl numbers, right? We know that. But I think they want a team in another country. And I think it will be before Roger Goodell gets out of being the commissioner.
Eric in Vancouver says international games are why the NFL expanded its schedule. And with a question mark. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That's my point. They don't need to put teams in other countries. They're making billions as it is out of those countries. But I also know how they think. Commissioners and billionaire owners. And it's like... Right. That, and also, we want to be the first league to be the first worldwide league. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, the world needs people like that. Or I don't think like that, but these guys do. Right? So
yes,
that might
they
be, do. Yeah, it might be kind of cool if they do. All right, Florida Jim. Whoop.
Ooh.
Jersey Jim, I mean. Are you making your next? We got 30 seconds. When's your next Florida trip planned, Jimmy?
Playoffs?
Oh, perfect.
Playoffs,
okay.
Tampa playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So
they might. Well, they like us in Tampa, too. They like us in Tampa.
Yeah, they do.
All right. We'll see if Tim McGraw's still hanging around. All right, Jim. Quick plug for what you're doing.
Yeah, Full Press Hockey, YouTube. Check it out. Nightcap Recap, Specialty Media, Substack. At Jersey Jim, follow me. Google me like Kirk Signetti. You'll find me.
Google me. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you, bro.
Take it easy. Appreciate you.
Jersey Jim from NHL Full Press and NHLRumors.com. Check him out. Shake it up. We'll be right back on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.